For your best friend, your husband, to have an affair with your best friend, and they lie to you, you keep asking your best friend, is something going on?
Country music has always been filled with love, heartbreak, and wild passion. But behind the songs and fame, many of its biggest divas lived through scandals that shocked their fans. Affairs, jealousy, and broken vows followed them long after the spotlight faded. These women didn't just sing about heartbreak, they lived it. Join us as we uncover 25 country music divas whose tangled love lives destroyed marriages and left unforgettable marks on country music history. Number 25, Martina McBride. Martina McBride built her career on powerful songs about love, pain, and strength, and her personal life reflects that same depth.
Your husband before you were famous, right?
I did.
How did that happen? How'd you meet?
We met in Wichita, Kansas.
He's a Kansan?
He's from Kansas as well.
She married sound engineer John McBride in 1988, long before she became a household name. Their marriage faced the usual storms of fame, long nights apart, endless touring, and the pressure of raising children under the spotlight. Yet they held on through every challenge. Martina often said that love isn't about perfection, but about showing up every day, even when it's hard. Still, like many country women, she's had moments of doubt and struggle, balancing her role as a wife, mother, and artist. Her songs about heartbreak and endurance aren't fiction. They come from lived experience. Martina's story is proof that love can survive fame, but only when both hearts fight for it. She remains one of country's most honest and grounded voices. So, keep watching to find out more about these divas. Number 24, Leanne Rimes. Leanne Rimes' love life has been one of country music's most talked about stories. She married backup dancer Dean Sherrimet Young at the height of her fame, but their fairy tale fell apart when she met actor Eddie Cibrian on a movie set. Their affair caused a huge scandal. Both were married at the time, and the revelation shocked fans. The media painted Leanne as a homewrecker, and for years, she battled judgment, guilt, and heartbreak. Eventually, she and Eddie married in 2011, standing together despite the backlash.
Do you ever worry about him cheating on you?
First off, I would be ignorant to say, and everyone else would think I'm a liar if I wouldn't say.
Leanne later admitted the experience taught her painful lessons about love, forgiveness, and consequences. Though her choices sparked controversy, she turned the chaos into reflection and growth. Today, she lives more quietly, focusing on healing and peace. Her story reminds everyone that even when love starts in the wrong place, people can still grow, learn, and change for the better. Number 23, Shaniah Twain. Shaniah Twain's story was like a modern country fairy tale until it shattered. She married Mutt Lange, the famous producer who helped craft her biggest hits, and together they seemed unstoppable.
For your best friend, your husband, to have an affair with your best friend, and they lie to you, you keep asking your best friend, is something going on? And she's blatantly lying to you, saying nothing's going on.
Then came a painful betrayal that stunned fans. Mutt had fallen for Shaniah's close friend. The affair tore apart not just her marriage, but her faith in people she trusted most. It took Shaniah years to heal from the emotional wreckage, but in a surprising twist, she later found love again, with the ex-husband of the same friend who betrayed her. Her story became one of heartbreak, turning into rebirth. Through it all, she kept her dignity and grace, channeling her pain into new music and strength. Shaniah proved that even after being broken, it's possible to rebuild and shine again, turning what could have destroyed her into one of the most inspiring comebacks in country music. Number 22, Loretta Lynn. Loretta Lynn's life was a mix of love, strength, and survival. She married Oliver Doolittle Lynn when she was just 15, and their marriage lasted nearly 50 years. But it was far from a fairy tale. Her husband was charming but difficult. He drank heavily, cheated often, and sometimes treated her cruelly. Loretta endured it all, raising 6 children while building one of the most powerful careers in country music. She often said that every song she wrote came from something she lived through, and you could hear that truth in her voice. Her music spoke to every woman who had ever been hurt, but kept going anyway. Despite the pain, Loretta never stopped loving Du. Their bond was deep and complicated. She could never truly walk away from him. When he passed away, she said a part of her went with him. Loretta's personal life was messy and emotional, but it shaped her into the legend she became. Her strength didn't come from ease. It came from endurance. Every heartbreak, every lonely night became a line in the songs that made her immortal. Number 21, Tammy Winnette. Tammy Wynnette's life mirrored the heartbreak in her songs. Behind her powerful voice and glowing stage lights was a woman who knew the pain of broken promises. Her marriage to George Jones became one of the most talked about relationships in country music. Together, they created timeless duets that touched millions, but their real-life battles with addiction, jealousy, and endless arguments tore them apart. Tammy's quest for love led her through several marriages, each one ending with deep wounds. She became known as the First Lady of country music, yet her personal life was marked by constant emotional storms. Fans adored her, but many whispered about the chaos behind closed doors. Her story wasn't just about fame, it was about the fragile line between passion and destruction. Tammy's journey showed that love in the spotlight could be beautiful and painful at once, a lesson that left a lasting mark on country music's history. Number 20, Reeba McIntyre. Reeba McIntyre's journey through love has been one of deep trust, heartbreak, and resilience. Her first marriage to Charlie Battles began with youthful hope, but quickly soured as he struggled with her growing fame. Reeba wanted to spread her wings. Charlie wanted her to stay grounded. Eventually, she chose her dreams and walked away, carrying the guilt and sadness of a love that couldn't last. Years later, she found comfort in the arms of Narvel Blackstock, her manager and closest partner in every way. But when their relationship ended, it shocked everyone who admired them. Reeba later revealed how painful it was to watch her world crumble, especially when she realized she had lost both a partner and a trusted business companion. The end of their marriage left her rebuilding her life from the ground up, learning to stand strong without leaning on anyone. Her heartbreak turned into a story of renewal. She proved that strength doesn't come from avoiding pain, but from rising after it. Reeba's journey through love and loss showed how even the toughest women in country music aren't immune to heartbreak, but they can always rise again. Number 19, Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton's charm, voice, and heart made her one of the most beloved figures in country music, but her love life has always sparked curiosity. Though she has been married to Carl Dean for decades, the mysteries surrounding their private life have fueled endless rumors. Many questioned how a woman so adored could keep her marriage so hidden. Some whispered about emotional distance, others about the sacrifices fame demanded. Dolly poured her feelings into songs that hinted at loneliness and longing, showing that even a superstar can feel isolated. Her dazzling smile often hid the quiet heartache that comes with balancing love and ambition. While she never openly let her marriage fall apart, the emotional cost of her fame was clear. Dolly's story reminded the world that behind every perfect melody, there may be silent struggles, proof that even the brightest stars carry their own shadows in love. Number 18, Marin Morris. Marin Morris became one of country music's modern voices, blending bold lyrics with an unapologetic personality. Her marriage to fellow musician Ryan Hurd once looked like a dream match, two artists in love, creating music together. But fame often tests even the strongest bonds. Over time, rumors began to swirl about cracks in their relationship, and the emotional distance between them grew. The pressures of success, constant travel, and public scrutiny eventually took their toll. When their separation became public, fans were heartbroken. However, Marin handled it with strength and honesty, focusing on healing and growth rather than bitterness. Her songs began to reflect a new phase of independence and courage. Her story became one of rediscovery, proof that endings don't always mean failure. Marin's heartbreak reminded everyone that even modern love stories face old challenges, but how we rise after them defines who we truly are. Number 17, Trisha Yearwood. Trisha Yearwood's love story is one that took years to find its perfect rhythm. She married 3 times, but only the last one gave her the happiness she always dreamed of. Her first marriage to musician Chris Latham ended quietly, with both realizing their paths were going in different directions. Her second marriage to bassist Robert Reynolds of the Mavericks was full of promise at first, but fame and distance tore them apart. Trisha was building her career while also searching for a love that could match her big heart. That love finally came in the form of Garth Brooks, her longtime friend and duet partner. Their chemistry was undeniable from the start, but timing wasn't right. Both were married to other people. Years later, after both had divorced, they reunited and realized they had been meant for each other all along. Their marriage in 2005 became one of the most beloved stories in country music. Trisha and Garth built a life filled with laughter, teamwork, and respect. Still, even their love has had its challenges. Trisha has spoken openly about balancing fame, marriage, and self-worth, admitting that even happy love takes work. Through all her ups and downs, she learned that love isn't just about romance. It's about patience, forgiveness, and friendship. Trisha's journey from heartbreak to happiness shows that sometimes the right person comes at the right time, just later than expected. Number 16, Naomi Jud. Naomi Jud's story was one of triumph, pain, and deep emotion. As the matriarch of the Judds, she built a musical empire with her daughter Wana, but behind their harmonies were struggles that ran far deeper. Naomi faced heartbreak in love, dealing with relationships that left her feeling betrayed and lonely. Her life was filled with moments of beauty and despair, often hidden behind her radiant smile. Fame brought success, but also heavy personal costs. The pressures of the spotlight, the breakdowns in her relationships, and her health battles weighed heavily on her spirit. She carried herself with elegance, yet behind the scenes, there was heartbreak she rarely shared. Naomi's story reminds us that even those who seem the strongest can carry silent pain. Her legacy in country music remains powerful, not just for her voice, but for her courage to keep going through every storm. Her life became a haunting reminder of how love, fame, and pain often walk hand in hand. Number 15, Tanya Tucker. Tanya Tucker has lived a life as wild and colorful as her music. She burst onto the country scene at just 13, already singing about heartbreak long before she ever lived it. As she grew older, her real-life romances became just as dramatic as her songs. Tanya never had a traditional marriage, but her love life made plenty of headlines. Her most famous and passionate relationship was with Glen Campbell, a music legend who was over 20 years older than her. Their love burned fast and fierce, full of deep emotions, jealousy, and pain. They fought often, but they also couldn't stay apart. The affair drew public attention, not just because of their age difference, but because their relationship was messy, unpredictable, and raw. After Glenn, Tanya had several other relationships that came and went, leaving pieces of her heart scattered along the way. She was engaged multiple times, but never made it down the aisle. Instead, she chose to pour her emotions into music and her children, raising them as a single mother while continuing her career. Tanya's life has been proof that love doesn't always follow a perfect script. She's known heartbreak, addiction, and moments of deep loneliness, yet she always found her way back to the stage, fierce, fearless, and unbreakable. Her songs about heartbreak feel real because they are real. Tanya Tucker didn't need a wedding ring to define her. She built her own legend, scars and all, and turned her heartbreak into timeless country fire. Number 14, Wana Jud. Wana Jud's journey in country music was filled with triumph and tragedy. As part of the Judds with her mother Naomi, she achieved fame early, but her personal life was often tangled with heartbreak. She faced failed marriages and emotional betrayal that left her questioning her worth. Her relationship with her mother was complicated, filled with both love and tension. Wana's marriage to her former bodyguard, who was later arrested for serious crimes, shocked her fans and brought immense pain. Yet, she stood tall through public scrutiny, showing a courage that defined her character. Each setback seemed to push her to grow stronger, both as a woman and as an artist. Wana's life has been marked by survival, turning pain into resilience. Her story became a reminder that even those who sing about love and hope often live through their own storms before finding peace again. Number 13, Leanne Wick. Leanne Wick's soft voice might sound sweet, but behind it lies a life full of emotional ups and downs. She married songwriter Jason Sellers early in her career, and together they had a daughter. But fame and different ambitions drove them apart. Their marriage ended after just a few years, leaving Leanne to balance motherhood with her rising career. Heartbroken but determined, she poured her emotions into her music, creating some of the most heartfelt country ballads of her time. A few years later, she found love again with record producer Frank Little, who understood her world and her passion for music. Their bond was built on respect and shared creativity, giving her the stability she had always longed for. Still, Leanne's journey wasn't without challenges. Balancing fame, family, and personal happiness wasn't easy. She's been open about how the pressures of the industry can make relationships fragile. But through it all, she stayed true to herself, graceful, grounded, and honest about the messy parts of love. Her songs often reflect the ache of letting go and the courage it takes to start again. Leanne's story reminds us that even when love breaks, it doesn't mean you've failed. Sometimes heartbreak simply clears the way for a deeper kind of peace. Number 12, Miranda Lambert. Miranda Lambert's love life has been a roller coaster of passion and heartbreak. Her marriage to Blake Shelton was one of country music's most celebrated unions until it suddenly fell apart, leaving fans shocked. The rumors of infidelity and emotional distance surrounded their breakup, fueling endless speculation. Miranda poured her pain into music, creating songs that were raw and filled with emotion. She later found love again, but not without controversy. Her quick marriage to Brendan McLaughlin raised eyebrows, as many questioned how soon she moved on. Through it all, Miranda remained unapologetically herself, bold, emotional, and honest. Her heartbreaks became art, her tears became lyrics, and her scars turned into stories. She showed that heartbreak doesn't have to end a person. It can redefine them. Miranda's journey became a reflection of strength in chaos, and her spirit reminded fans that love may break you, but it can also rebuild you stronger than before. Number 11, Faith Hill. Faith Hill's story is one of romance, redemption, and the quiet resilience that comes from true love. Before meeting Tim McGraw, she was married to Daniel Hill, a music executive. The marriage seemed solid on paper, but Faith's heart felt unfulfilled. She was still discovering who she was, both as a woman and as an artist. When she met Tim McGraw on tour in the mid-90s, everything changed. The chemistry was undeniable, and despite knowing it would cause waves, since she was still married at the time, Faith followed her heart. She divorced Daniel and soon married Tim in 1996. What followed was a love story that felt straight out of a song. Two stars who built a family and a legacy together. But even fairy tales have hard chapters. Fame, touring, and raising 3 daughters brought challenges that tested their bond. There were rumors, arguments, and times when distance almost pulled them apart. Yet through it all, Faith and Tim chose to stand by each other. They became a symbol of lasting love in an industry full of breakups. Faith's personal life taught her the meaning of sacrifice and patience, learning that real love isn't just about passion, but about choosing each other every single day. Today, Faith Hill remains a picture of grace, a woman who took chances in love, followed her heart, and found her forever. Number 10, Barbara Mandrel. Barbara Mandrel was admired for her class, charm, and talent, but her personal life had its share of complicated moments. Married young to Ken Dudney, she balanced her family life with a demanding career that kept her constantly in the public eye. Fame tested their marriage repeatedly, as rumors and long separations fueled tension. Though she stayed committed, the emotional toll of living under constant scrutiny weighed heavily on her. There were whispers about strain and distance, and the pressures of success often made it hard to maintain balance. Yet, Barbara's strength and deep sense of faith helped her weather those storms. She managed to preserve her dignity even when the gossip grew loud. Her journey showed that even when love is challenged by fame's harsh spotlight, resilience can keep it alive. Barbara's story became one of endurance and quiet perseverance in a world that often tears relationships apart. Number 9. Crystal Gale. Crystal Gale's beauty, grace, and flowing dark hair made her one of the most recognizable country stars of the 1970s. But her soft, gentle presence often hid the quiet challenges she faced behind the spotlight. Growing up as Loretta Lynn's younger sister, she learned early what fame could take from a person: privacy, peace, and sometimes happiness. She married Bill Gatzimos in 1976, and while their marriage stood the test of time, it was never without its hurdles. The pressures of fame often collided with the need for a normal life, and balancing both worlds wasn't always easy. Still, Crystal was determined to keep her family out of the chaos that surrounded her music career. She found strength in her husband's steady presence, even when touring and recording took most of her energy. While other relationships in the industry fell apart, hers endured because she chose calm over conflict. Behind the elegance was a woman who deeply valued loyalty and privacy. She watched many around her lose marriages to fame and temptation, but Crystal learned to protect her love fiercely. Her story may not be filled with scandals, but it holds something rarer: quiet endurance. In a world of bright lights and endless applause, Crystal Gale found peace in stillness. She built her happiness not from fame, but from family. And that made her a true legend of love and grace. Number 8, Roseanne Cash. Roseanne Cash grew up surrounded by music, but it wasn't just any kind of fame. It was the kind that came with being Johnny Cash's daughter. Living in the shadow of such a legend wasn't easy, yet Roseanne carved her own path with her own voice and emotions that felt raw and real. Her songs were filled with the kind of honesty that came from living through love, loss, and learning. When she married fellow musician Rodney Crowell in 1979, it seemed like the perfect match. They created music together, shared the same dreams, and raised 4 children. But as the spotlight grew brighter, the cracks began to show. Long tours, creative differences, and the pressures of fame slowly began pulling them apart. By the early 1990s, their marriage ended, leaving Roseanne deeply hurt, but wiser. Instead of letting the pain break her, she turned it into music that spoke straight from the soul. Every note she sang carried pieces of her story, the heartache, the growth, and the strength to begin again. In time, she found love once more with musician and producer John Leventhal. This time, the connection wasn't built on excitement alone, but on understanding, patience, and shared purpose. Roseanne learned that love changes with time. It becomes gentler, quieter, and more honest. Her journey wasn't wrapped in glamour, but it was filled with truth, the kind that only comes from living through both joy and sorrow. Through every heartbreak and healing moment, she proved that real strength lies in starting over with hope. Roseanne Cash's story is more than a tale of music and fame. It's about finding peace after chaos and learning that love, when nurtured with honesty, can heal even the deepest scars. Number 7, Emiloo Harris. Emiloo Harris's voice has always carried a gentle sadness, the kind that feels both painful and peaceful. Her life mirrored that same emotion, a mix of love, loss, and quiet strength. She married young to Tom Slocum, but as her dreams of music began to grow, their relationship faded. After his passing, she poured her heart completely into her craft, chasing the melodies that would later define her. Love found her again with producer Brian Ahern, a partnership built on creativity and passion. Together, they made magic, shaping her timeless sound. But like many artistic unions, fame and personal differences eventually pulled them apart. Later, she married musician Paul Kennerly, hoping for lasting happiness, yet that too ended in divorce. Despite her heartbreaks, Emiloo never lost her grace. She turned every pain into poetry, every tear into a song that touched hearts around the world. Her voice carried the lessons of love, that it can hurt deeply, but also teach and heal. Though her marriages ended, her music remained her lifelong companion. Emiloo Harris proved that even when love fades, its echoes can still create something beautiful and everlasting. Number 6, Jennifer Nettles. Jennifer Nettles, best known as the powerhouse voice of Sugarland, has lived a love story marked by independence and rediscovery. Her soulful energy and emotional depth make every lyric feel real, because most of them come from her own experiences. She married Todd Van Sickle in 1998, long before fame knocked on her door. Their love began with simplicity, but as her career took off, the gap between their worlds grew wider. The pressures of touring, public life, and long separations eventually led to their quiet divorce in 2007. It was painful, but Jennifer handled it with dignity, never letting bitterness define her. A few years later, she met entrepreneur Justin Miller, and their connection felt different, grounded, peaceful, and full of mutual respect. They married in 2011 and started a family, giving Jennifer the stability she had always longed for. But even in happiness, she's spoken about how love requires patience and effort, especially when fame threatens to complicate everything. Jennifer's personal journey is one of balance, learning to chase dreams without losing herself in the process. Her story shows that it's possible to rebuild after heartbreak, to love again without fear. With every song she sings, Jennifer Nettles reminds her listeners that strength doesn't mean you never fall. It means you rise softer, wiser, and still full of heart. Number 5, Trisha Yearwood. Trisha Yearwood's warm voice and graceful presence made her one of country's most beloved stars, but her personal life had its share of heartbreak. Before finding lasting happiness, she experienced 2 failed marriages that left her deeply hurt. Each breakup became a quiet chapter of lessons and reflection. Her eventual marriage to fellow country legend Garth Brooks came after years of friendship and complicated emotions, as both had to navigate their own relationships first. Their story drew attention from fans who wondered how love could finally find its place after so much struggle. Trisha's journey showed that even when love takes the long road, it can still arrive beautifully. She never used her heartbreak to gain sympathy. Instead, she turned her emotions into heartfelt performances that spoke directly to listeners' hearts. Her story wasn't about scandal. It was about finding peace after pain and learning that sometimes the right person comes at exactly the right time. Number 4. Lorie Morgan. Lorie Morgan's love life could fill an entire country ballad, full of passion, heartbreak, and survival. She's been married multiple times, including to country star Keith Whitley, whose tragic death in 1989 left her shattered. That loss defined a large part of her early life, and for years, she struggled to find lasting happiness again. She went on to marry several times, each relationship bringing new lessons and heartbreaks, yet through all the pain, Lorie never lost her spark. Her songs carry the emotion of a woman who's loved deeply and lost deeply too. She once said she never stopped believing in love, no matter how many times it hurt. Lorie Morgan's journey shows that life doesn't promise a perfect story, only that the heart keeps beating, no matter how many times it breaks. Number 3, Patty Loveless. Patty Loveless turned pain into poetry. She first married Terry Lovelace, but their relationship soon crumbled under the pressure of her rising career. The breakup left her broken, but it also pushed her to dig deeper into her music. Later, she found love again with producer Emory Gordy Jr., who not only helped shape her sound, but also gave her the stability she needed. Together, they built a strong and lasting bond that stood firm against fame's chaos. Patty's voice, rich, emotional, and haunting, often reflected her real-life struggles with love and loss. Through every song, she turned her heartache into healing. Her story isn't about failure, but about second chances, proof that love can find you again when you least expect it. Patty Loveless reminds us that sometimes heartbreak isn't the end. It's just the beginning of something stronger. Number 2, Linda Ronstadt. Linda Ronstadt's love life was as bold and beautiful as her voice. Known for crossing genres and breaking rules, she lived on her own terms, both in music and in love. She never married, but her relationships with famous men like Jerry Brown and George Lucas kept her name in headlines. Still, Linda never let romance define her. Her focus was always her art, her voice, and her independence. She believed love could exist without needing to fit society's idea of forever. Later in life, when Parkinson's disease took her singing voice, Linda showed remarkable strength, finding purpose in mentoring others and sharing her wisdom. Her story isn't about failed marriages, but about freedom, the courage to live exactly as she wanted, without apology. Linda Ronstadt taught the world that love doesn't always have to last forever to be meaningful. Number 1, Ashley McBride. Ashley McBride built her career on honesty, grit, and emotional storytelling. Unlike many country stars, she's kept her love life private, focusing instead on music that comes straight from her heart. She's never been publicly married, but that doesn't mean her songs lack emotion. They reveal her deep understanding of love, heartbreak, and loneliness. Ashley often writes about longing and resilience, pulling from her own experiences of sacrifice and struggle on the road. Fame came late for her, and with it came wisdom, the kind that comes from choosing passion over comfort. Her life may not revolve around romantic scandals, but her connection to her fans comes from something deeper, truth. Ashley McBride's story isn't about broken vows, it's about choosing yourself when the world tells you to settle. And that makes her one of country music's most real and powerful women. Now, what do you think about all these country divas? What do you think about the love life? Let's hear from you in the comments. Remember to hit the like button and subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.